What is going on, everybody? It's your boy KUULKahnviqt here, and today I want to show y'all my Black Widow build. So hadn't really played Black Widow much. Got it to 150 because I was kind of bored after getting Captain America and just wanted another character to mess around with. She kind of just sat for a minute. I ended up getting Kate Bishop and Black Panther higher than she is, and they are currently higher than she is. But a couple days ago, I went into the Omega level threat with Black Widow just to test it out because I don't see very many people play her, and she actually ended up being my most efficient character so far with this build. Now this is stuff that literally everything that's on her right now is stuff that I've had on her since starting to play her in Omega level threat. I haven't made any tweaks to her yet other than the stuff that I've already got on. Even the exotic that was there, that was one I picked up a long time ago. But anyway, let's get into the build.
I'm so amazing. I'm so amazing.
I'm amazing. Just how I'm blazing.
Alright, so first off, we're going to talk about the stats that I actually got built up for. And then we're going to go over the gear. So right now, with the hero stats that I'm dealing with, I got my might at 102, precision at 206, proficiency is at 51, valor's at 268, resolve is at 118, resilience is at 46, and intensity's at 55. So what that does is the main pieces of this build is going to be your precision, the valor, and the resolve, because I do allow her to take a lot of stand power when you're taking her in there. You don't really want to take anybody in there that don't have enough defense to actually take a couple of hits, because we all know, and you'll see later on in the gameplay towards the end of the video, this fight is just chaotic, and there are just some things that just randomly happen that you cannot control. So having some stand power allows for some of the chaos to not be as harsh when taking on that fight. But let's get into the gear. So first piece that I got going on here is gonna be the faultless invulnerability gloves. So what these have on them is the perks that I really like about this one is you get the 12.7 chance melee crits, give you invulnerability. So if you're using her melee, even though you're not doing a lot of damage, if you get a crit hit, then you get invulnerability, and it lasts for about 15 seconds or so. Then you get her signature attack, inflict shock. So not only are we getting shock from the Widow's bite, but we're getting shock from pretty much any signature attack that she does with melee. And then the stealth modifier, increases status damage while invisible. Remember, I told you that this one deals a lot with invisibility. So the increased status damage. So when you got that shock being procced as well as you're invisible, you get that extra 20% damage on the stealth multiplier. My favorite piece right here, this is that proficient empowerment rounds. So 21% chance range power attacks grant an eccentric burst. Range power attack ability is required. So what that is that whether you're using the heavy caliber or the pistols, whenever you hold the trigger down, that counts as a power shot and not just a regular light shot. So whenever I switch over to those, then I can proc that in eccentric burst. But when I'm using the full auto, I inflict cosmic damage. You're gonna understand why I like this piece going along with the other two pieces that I got to go through here in a minute. But inflicting cosmic damage, and when you do cosmic damage, it basically increases. The way cosmic work is when you proc it, it's basically giving you an extra damage boost on top of that. Then you get the 12% chance of defeating enemies in their weak points grants a defense buff. So more staying power to go on top of the 1331, that you already got overall boost. So then the next piece right here we're going with is the Tachyon's Eye. Now this combos with my cosmic gun. So increasing the amount of willpower recovered from attacking cosmic afflicted enemies by 30%. So that means that she pretty much got some life steal going on. Whenever you proc that cosmic damage, she starts to heal. Whenever you're actually continuing to attack when you activate this perk. and then increases the amount of plasma damage dealt with any attack by 20. And then reflective tachyon surge, 21% chance when parrying an attack to activate a tachyon surge. Surges increases all status damage by 50%. So you're talking about if you get this tachyon surge to proc, you deal extra status damage up to 50%. So this is a hard hitting piece of work right here, man. And I actually got this by playing the Tachyon Rift mission, and it dropped this piece for me. And this has been a game changer since I got it. And then the exotic that I grabbed, basically, it's Natasha's Coil. It's 15% increased heroic charge rate when Shadow Ops is active, so I can get it. I can get the moves up a lot quicker. Increases charge rate of heroic assault ability by 18%, and then increases charge rate of heroic ability, the heroic ultimate ability by 18%. So I'm constantly. She's got if you combo that along with when we go back over to the stats, if you go ahead and think about the fact that my ultimate and my assault now sit at 30%, so I'm getting my moves back really quick. The Widow's Bite is coming back quick, so I'm constantly getting Widow's Bites to keep proccing the shock. Then my ultimate comes out, and when you actually activate her ultimate and she gets that extra eccentric, she does extra damage that way there too. So now that I've gotten to the gear, I mean, we can look at the artifacts. Artifacts, I mean, pretty basic. I mean, I do got a little bit more Cosmic Surge going on with this ISO here, with the 13.6 chance taking any damage, grants the Cosmic Surge buff, dealing damage while the buff is active, restores a small amount of willpower and heroic energy. So I'm getting heroic energy and health whenever this procs. And then also, I did this one because I'm trying to get her leveled up a little bit quicker now that I'm liking her. So I just threw this one on for the XP damage, and then the increased critical hit chance on light combo finishers. My exotic, I was running different exotic, but what I found is there's other than using this to get you to level 150, these don't really make much difference. And I really hope that Crystal Dynamics changes this whenever they do some updates. Change this to where it actually they're useful. Because I mean, I did this one to 10 because I wanted to try out the particle damage with Spawn and Hank Pym. I mean, I've used this one here pretty much on everybody else. And I know it does help out with the status effects, but with all of the status effect damage, and you're going to see in the gameplay later on, with all the status effect I got going on with the gear that I was wearing, and I didn't really think that it was necessary to have it here. So I was just trying out some new artifacts here. But now let's get into the skills. So when we go into the skills, the main ones we want to look into is the way that I got her built. So when we're looking at the Veil of Shadows, which is her invisibility, what I did was I went for this one right here, the Dark Thorn. So 20% increased damage to nearby enemies when going into the when activating Veil of Shadows. So what that does is every time that she goes invisible, who's ever standing next to her gets electrocuted. So now she's adding shock damage as well as extra 20% more damage to them while doing that whenever she goes invisible. So you're already knocking some health down and possibly killing the weaker enemies whenever you're running with this. Defeating enemies with Veil of Shadows will activate and extend the duration of your invisibility. So when you think about keeping the duration going whenever you're defeating the enemies while you're invisible, you keep that invisibility up quite a bit. Then that helps out quite a bit on the other invisibility procs that I got in the gear. So this combos well. And then we got increases the range. So it allows me to push that electricity that it allows me to pull this Dark Thorn out a little bit further than just around her radius, as well as helping teammates go invisible as well. It goes out a little bit further. Then when we get into the assault, what I went with was, because I can get these and proc that shock real quick, as I went with the taser darts. I've seen some people run these here to get the increased electric field, but I prefer to have the darts because they stay in them. So, and especially when you're dealing with Super Adaptoid, he moves quite a bit. So being able to hit him with one of these, and then even if he moves, it's stuck in him and it still continues to shock, is a lot more effective. And then I went ahead and added in a couple of extras, so I carry 3 right now. I was carrying 4, but then I saw this one here. So the Widow Bite inflicts 40% more stun damage, increasing the chance to stun the enemy. Now, true enough, you cannot stun Super Adaptoid, but there comes a point in the fight where there are 2 of the gravity adaptoids that come in towards the end of the fight that are very annoying. So if I can pop one of them with one of these and stun them out of the air, then we can clean up after that. So then we go into the ultimate. So what I did here with the power surge is I procced in for ultimate heroic, increased damage of Widow's Bite while power surge is active by 20%. So when I activate this and then hit with a Widow's Bite, I mean, it cuts him down. It cuts him down quick. That health starts falling off quick. Then we're looking at right here, increase the damage resistance. So I went with the Indomitable Force because it increases the damage resistance about to 30% and reduces the severity of hit reactions from some enemy attacks when power surge is active. So I did this because, and you'll see, but I did this because the chaos of this fight, whenever I can turn this move on, then I don't have to worry about him throwing that cap shield or throwing the Mjolnir hammer and just immediately downing me. Like it knocks off 30% of the attack. So I have a couple of times that I can get hit with either one of those attacks before I die. That's why I said it was crazy that I had all this already built up on her, and she is probably the most efficient I've had in that fight so far. All right, now moving on over to the mastery. Now the only ones we got to really care about is the eccentric abilities, the invisibility, and the range. The utility doesn't really matter too much. I mean, that's extra stuff if you want to add that. It's not really that important. But what I really want to focus on is right here. So increase all damage while overcharged by 5%. So the fastest way to get her to overcharge mode is using the full auto guns, because the more you hit, the faster it builds up. So this gives me 5% more damage on everything whenever I get into overcharge. This one here, I went for eccentric charge. So all attacks increase the charge rate of the eccentric shadow ops meter. So I get a 15% more charge on the eccentric. So these two work pretty well together. Then we go into increase the rate of which heroic energy recharges while overcharged. So when I get into overcharge mode, so if I can hit him with enough full auto bullets to put her into overcharge mode, then I get 15% extra heroic energy charge to all my heroic moves. Then when we get into ranged, we got the power attack. So this one here, the cluster, I like it because it does proc. What I did was I took this one here that basically hits everything in front of me. This move works real good when he's dropping the turrets out. You go up there, you hit the turrets with this move here. I went for the shock damage turrets. You can interchange these. I was running the plasma grenades and I started to run the shock grenades because I was just trying to keep a theme. She's shocking everything. So I said, well, let's keep the shock. And then I went with reduce recoil, because if you shoot them full autos, anybody that's tried to play Black Widow and shoot them full autos, and you know her bullets fly everywhere and it's hard to get an accurate hit. So this right here just makes it easier for me to shoot them without flying bullets just everywhere. Now invisibility. When we go into invisibility, so increases range attack damage while invisible by 12%. So this works out really good along with the rest of this that I'm about to show you. So it gives me that 12 extra range, because most of the time you're going to be ranging, you're not going to be melee attacking Super Adaptoid. And then heroic energy recharges 15% faster while invisible. So if you think about, if I'm invisible and I proc this and I get this for 15%, and then we come back over here and we look at where you at. We look at this one here in overcharge mode, gives me 15%. That's 30% extra heroic charge damage. I mean heroic charge energy that I'm getting on top of what my heroic charge is already, with the other 30% that I'm getting 30. So I'm getting basically 60% from the armor, from the gear that I got on, 15% here, and then 15% here. So that's 90% when all three of these are procced. So that's, I get my moves back pretty quick. And then we look at increased critical attack chance by 7% with range attacks while you're invisible. So what I usually do, the way I play her a lot of the time, is I will hit him with some overcharge, proc a couple of things off my armor with the overcharge, try to proc a couple of these things out of the mastery, and then once those proc over, I'll switch over to heavy caliber and start shooting headshots. So giving me this extra critical attack chance by 7%, it is crazy. Now, what I did here, even though utility is not that important in this build, I'll go ahead and show you what's there. So I went ahead and performing a takedown, you know, drops regen packs. This really is not going to come in handy too much in this fight, but it does come in handy, you know, when dealing with those adapters that I tell you about that come a little later on. And then I increase all range attack damage by 10%, so I'm getting more damage all the time by 10%. And then lastly, we got the light and heavy attack boost the energy of all heroic meters by 5%. So if I do get in close enough to actually hit with a couple of melee, then we're actually getting some pretty good heroic meter. So this is all about meter. This is all about keeping that meter going. A super adapter is one of the hardest fights to get meter in. So as long as you can keep meter up and keep your moves going, you are a real asset to your team. And keeping them invisible, I have, and you will see that too. There are some BS moments to where I'm invisible and they can still spot me, and it's like, how I'm invisible. But most of the time it works. Most of the time it works. When I get invisible, they don't see me, they don't target me, and I can pretty much move around. If somebody gets down and I'm invisible, I can get them up without too much problem. So that is my Black Widow build. Now we're gonna get over to the gameplay, and I'm gonna let y'all see how it all worked. But if you like what you've seen in this build, or if you got some things that you've tried in a build and you might want to suggest something that I can change to make it a little bit more efficient, hey, I'm all ears. Go ahead and, you know, comment down below. Let me know any suggestions you might have. But hey, if you're liking the content that you're seeing from me here lately, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. You don't really have to do the notification bell because YouTube doesn't really ever notify me whenever people are coming up, so they probably won't notify you. But I really would at least like you to like it and subscribe. It really helps out the page, man. So without further ado, keep it cool. I'm out.
It's inevitable.
It's opening!
What the hell is that? Super adapter. Defend Project Omega.
As you wish, Dr. Rappaccini.
Okay, yikes. Looks like this new killbot is a big Avengers fan. The shield, the hammer. Gonna guess you've got some rockets hiding back there.
Kate, AIM has control of the bridge. We can't open it again unless we get it back.
Please just hang on. How about a rain check?
nice day.